Attention crew, this is your Captain Caliban speaking. This is a supplemental episode of Enterprising Individuals, where we bring you news and tidbits from the world of Trek, also interviews with special guests, and a few little surprises along the way. As summer winds down and turns to fall, we're still plugging away here at the show. I hope you've enjoyed our look at the films of Star Trek so far, and we have essentially wrapped up the original series and the TNG films. And we'll be moving on soon to the Kelvin Timeline films. If you've been paying attention to the news of Star Trek, you'll know some bad news from the world of the Kelvin films. And to that end, we want to talk about some of that news and also general news in the world of Trek today. So I asked Mikanhana of the Just Enough Trope podcast to once again come back to the show and do a roundup of today's news in the world of Star Trek. And we talked about the news, and we talked about her podcasts, Just Enough Trope, and Sailor Noob as well, and some of her appearances on Discoverage. And she'll be appearing on Discoverage soon to talk about some new Star Trek shows as well. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with her. That's pretty much all I've got to say for this week. I hope you enjoy your life right now if you're going back to school, or if you're sending your kids back to school, or whatever you've got going on. I hope that it's going well. As always, I'll remind you to find us on social media at EISTPOD on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have a Discord. If you go to our show notes, in our show notes, we have a link to our Discord. You can join for free. It costs you nothing. You immediately get in, and you can talk to myself, other hosts on the Just Enough Trope podcast network of other shows, and fans of those shows about Star Trek, about movies, TV shows, and comic books, video games, whatever your interest is, whatever your nerd niche is. We're having conversations on Discord about that. So join us there. Like I said, no cost at all to you. The only cost is having to deal with all the fun you're going to have. And I also would be remiss if I didn't remind you that every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch TV, that's twitch.tv/EISTPOD, we have our live show, Star Trek Discoverage, where I and my co-host Ella Pearson talk about the latest episode of that week's new Star Trek show. Right now it is Lower Decks. Soon it will be other shows from the future, Prodigy, Picard, the 5th season of Discovery. We're talking about all of those new episodes, so catch us live, streaming live, video and audio on Twitch at twitch.tv/EISTPOD. And all of our past episodes can be found, of course, at the usual show feed for Enterprising Individuals. That's it for me. I'll throw it to future or past me and Mikanhana, R.I.P. Louise Fletcher. And with that, let's get underway. Joining me on the show again, she is the host of the Sailor Noob podcast, the co-host of the Just Enough Trope podcast, and a longtime guest on both Discoverage and Enterprising Individuals. It is Mikanhana. Mika, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh.
What is that sigh for?
I immediately ran out of gas.
Oh, no.
That was it. That was my sterling intro. I'm going to coast for the rest of this interview.
What are we going to do?
It's all downhill from here. No. There's just been a lot going on in the past 5 or 6 years, decade, millennium so far. But it just feels like there's been a lot going on in the world of all the things that we talk about on our different outlets, podcasts and what have you. And specifically the world of Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Which I'm sure that my listeners are familiar with. You know, the 30th anniversary of Sailor Moon was this year.
Absolutely.
From the time of when the anime first was aired in Japan until now, it's been 30 years.
I know.
And it's weird to think, we're talking about Star Trek and how it's been 56, almost 7 years that Star Trek has been out, which is incredible. But it's just as incredible that Sailor Moon has been going for so long.
Yeah, I would agree.
Has left such a cultural impact on the world. I think
it has.
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, it doesn't have 5 series on a streaming network.
It's not the same as Star Trek.
No.
They're apples and bananas.
But that's how that
oranges.
phrase goes, right?
Apples and oranges.
But it's weird, though, because it could be. I mean, certainly Star Trek has had success at the movies.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a second. It's had success in terms of merchandising. Definitely had success on TV. But like Sailor Moon, popular TV show.
Yes.
Worldwide.
Yep.
There's a new TV show.
Yep.
Called Sailor Moon Crystal. And a lot of merchandise. Why no new Sailor Moon?
I kind of think
where's
have to
Sailor
look
Moon
at
Discovery?
Naoko Takeuchi for that.
Who's that?
That is the creator of Sailor Moon.
Oh.
So
what's her problem?
I don't think she has a problem. I think it's just...
Is she like Gene Roddenberry? Always like, I don't like this new Star Deep Space Nine.
I think
I hate the movie.
I think...
Wrath of Khan. What a stinker.
I think she I don't know if she's like that exactly. I kind of doubt she's exactly like Jean. But she, I think...
those two in a room together.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, don't.
Please don't. Nako, get in your Porsche and drive away.
Wait.
But I feel like, in Japan, creators own their property, or at least have more of a say as to what goes on with their property. So I think that, she was very heavily involved with Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, which is the live action show.
Yeah.
And I think she was more involved with Crystal than she was with the 90s anime. I think she just is very choosy.
She could choose to sell it to Disney and then have an entire Sailor Moon universe at the box office.
I don't know that she wants that, though. I think she likes it being special. But I would love for her to create some more manga, and then we could have more anime. Or we could just have more anime right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why there isn't a sequel series.
I guess
I'm just speculating.
Cool that that she has that kind of ownership. I mean, I can't remember anymore. I've read so many makings of stuff. It all blurs together. But I think that like when Paramount was going to make The Next Generation, they were going to do it with or without Jean.
Sure.
But part of it was we need Jean on board, so the fandom accepts it. And another part was like, we don't know how to do this without Jean.
Right.
Like, this is kind of his weird wackadoodle thing. And so, having him on board was kind of a prerequisite to go forward.
Right. Well, I think it would be the same thing.
But they could have done it without him.
Yeah.
Ooh, there you go. That's a what if.
What if they did it without Jean?
Star Trek without Jean.
That is a what if.
A lot of people would say it's Deep Space Nine. Or Star Trek Discovery. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's
alive for that. So
it's great that Sailor Moon is continuing to turn people on. I think. I mean, I discovered it late in life, and hopefully, people are still getting into it today.
I think so. I
just think that like a movie would really help that out.
Well,
being on Netflix is probably really good for it.
Yeah. Well, and Crystal, it had the fourth arc of the manga in Crystal, the fourth arc was 2 movies, and that came out like a couple years ago, and that came out on Netflix, and now they're going to do 2 more movies for the next arc. So there will be movies, or I don't know if you're talking about live action movies or not, but so there is some new stuff coming out, but like you said, it's Crystal, and it's been coming out for a little while, and it's based on the manga, so it's not a new story.
Yeah.
And it's not a continuation of the story, which would be really neat,
That's, you find some old, you're in the attic, you open up a box. It's like, oh, this is an old locket. Well, what is this?
Right.
I'm a hip teen.
Right.
Grandma's attic is so dusty. I don't.
Oh my God.
Not this. Not
this.
But, something like that. Oh, here's what could happen. Sailor Pluto goes through a time warp and ends up in another timeline and then inspires...
That could totally work.
Sailor Moon, played by... Chris Pine have a daughter?
Wow.
And then people could debate what the best timeline is.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later, too. Well, speaking of movies, movies exist still,
They do exist
despite
still.
our best efforts.
Yeah.
And some of those movies are Star Wars movies, only not right now.
Uh-uh.
It's kind of retreated from the movie scene.
Yeah.
Quit the field, Star
Yeah.
Wars has, but is burgeoning on TV. I never get to talk Star Wars with anybody on this show.
Oh.
By design. It's not called Forceful Individuals, but it could be.
Whoa.
But as a pop culture generalist, you definitely must have some opinions about Star Wars, and some of the Star Wars shows that are out now.
I do. I love The Mandalorian.
Oh my God.
I would draw little hearts all around it. It's fantastic in my opinion. Like, I know that not everybody necessarily feels that way, but I personally, it's okay. So the original trilogy is my favorite.
The Ridge Tridge, yeah.
The Ridge Tridge. But I actually feel like The Mandalorian is number second.
Number second.
That's
what people say.
Second. I'm talking weird tonight. It's second. So I really enjoy it. I like that it tells a story that is, it doesn't follow the Jedi for the most part, and it looks at other people in the universe, and it's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of homages and stuff like that, and I respect that. I just think it's fun. And that's what I really like about it too, is because it's not like bleak and not like Star Wars is always bleak, but it's not like super serious and like, this is good and evil and this a fight between it is. But also look at Grogu, isn't he cute? And I honestly really appreciate that because I think that the original trilogy had some lightness to it as well.
Curse my unskilled hands that can't make a Baby Yoda out of Chekhov. Baby Chekhov.
Aww.
He's riding around in a little thing.
Oh my God.
He's eating macaroons.
Oh my God.
He's going, he burns his hand.
No.
It's a different kind of thing, I guess.
It is.
What's your number third?
What's my number third? Oh, you would ask me that.
Holiday
also
special.
not
special.
Really popular opinion, but I really liked The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, it's been great having you on the show.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I don't like the other newer films, and I don't like the prequels. I don't know. I have room to grow for a number third for sure, but
I might be completely biased and the wrong person to make this distinction, but even though both Star Wars and Star Trek obviously heavily draw on their continuity and their universe that exists, I feel like Star Trek at least tries to do something different, or maybe it's delivering similar variations on a theme that seem different enough. This is a Mexican pizza. This is a quesadilla. It's like,
right.
It feels different enough. Whereas I feel like Star Wars is always just, hey, you like Obi-Wan? Well, we got Obi-Wan. Here's some Obi-Wan. And it's like, I like Obi-Wan, but is he doing anything? No, he's going to do all the Obi-Wan. He's going to say hello there, and he's going to get his lightsaber out, and he's going to do force Jedi mind trick people. And it's
know.
Yep, yeah, I know about that. I've seen that.
I'd like to see some new things, please.
Yeah.
I have not enjoyed the other shows as much. I feel like they haven't really captured, or I feel like they don't understand what makes The Mandalorian so successful.
Old Westerns?
Possibly.
Samurai movies?
Possibly. But like but also this sense of just the way that they're telling the story, and like that they're moving the story forward. And like, I don't know, like for example, just started watching Andor and watched the first 3 episodes and found the first 2 to be rather boring because not a whole lot happens. And then a lot happens in the third one, but it's almost like why couldn't we have started here and done like flashbacks or something like that?
Because this is, 9 episodes or whatever, probably.
But then why is it 9 episodes?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
'cause money.
Like, tell the story that you want to tell. Like you're not going to tell another story. Like, make it good. I don't know.
Make it good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, make it good.
Here's an idea. Make it good.
Andor is that guy from Itu Mama También.
Yes.
Andorians are the guys with antennas.
Right.
They're from Andoria, an ice planet, and Andorra is a country in Europe.
Right. And Angora is a bunny. And
Right. That's too bad. I think the big problem is that, and this is a good, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it makes sense. This is what you're going to get. You got 2 huge franchises. You're going to make more.
Yeah.
That's just how money and franchises work. But we're all fans of this. There isn't anybody who's not a fan of this.
Right.
And so everybody who is making these things now are fans of these things. Now, I'm not saying that we should force. Remember when Walter Mosley was going to write? It was going to be on Discovery.
Yeah.
I think it was Discovery, right?
Yeah.
What would that have been like?
We won't know.
We'll never find out.
Yeah.
Get somebody who's just like, all right, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a captain and he's doing something, or this captain, she's doing something else. So what's the story here?
Right.
And I feel like a guy and I know everybody he's so great. He is pretty good. Ronald D. Moore. He likes space. He likes space and he likes the military.
Yes.
So he's tending to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But whether he's doing a Scottish time travel show or he's doing an alternate NASA show, he's looking at the thing and he's going, how do I deliver a story about people that also features fun, nerdy stuff and technical details and continuity? But every time I'm going to give you a story that's about a character, and that character could be a caveman. They could work at a supermarket. They could do all these other things. Those things wouldn't be as interesting as being a space captain on the moon or whatever. But he's always doing that. And it isn't just aliens, let's raise the shields. It's you get it. It's Star Trek. It's Star Trek.
Right.
I feel like we get that in Star Trek and we get that in Star Wars big time.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I did not like Andor much either. I guess they are trying to do something a little different because there hasn't really been and probably won't be Jedi or Sith or whatever. It's more about, this conflict, these characters that if you took the ray guns away, this could just be something on Earth, I think is the idea. I think it's a good idea. I just think that the pacing is weird and the characters are all unlikable and it's just a bad start. It's a bad start.
It is.
But I don't know, not for me.
Yeah. I'm not super excited about it either. So,
I feel like they give the fans, I think, what they think they want. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of things.
It is.
Got another thing coming. We got Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Literally because, they kind of piloted it to us, but people were give us that. And they're like, yeah, okay.
And they're like, oh, you want this?
Obviously.
All right.
But initially the idea of Discovery was going to be something very different.
Oh, really? What was it going to be?
Well, first of all, it was going to be an anthology. The whole Michael Burnham story would have ended at the end of the first season, and they would have moved somewhere else. That was the Brian, what's his name, idea.
Oh, my God.
Brian Ferry.
Fuller. Yeah. Start with an F.
Give Brian Ferry a shot. He's a slave to love.
Oh, okay.
And so it was going to jump around. It was going to, because again, nobody knew what Star Trek was 13, 14 years later.
Mm-hmm.
What's Star Trek going to be now?
Right.
And I think the idea was let's hedge our bets and let's give people what people have always said they wanted, which was different looks at this universe. And instead, Brian Fuller did not remain with the show. I think mostly because Paramount's like, you know what? We don't want to do that. We want a crew that people recognize and they come to see every week.
Right.
Because to be fair, that's what Star Trek had been for a long time.
Yeah.
And every time we get a new show, you keep thinking, I think they keep teasing or people keep thinking that we're going to really get something different this time. We're going to get that Starfleet Academy show, which I feel like
They've been promising that
yeah.
for years.
Or we're going to get, this is going to be a more political look at the Federation.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe a Klingon show or something that's set outside the Federation. And every time it's just crew of people. Most of them are Starfleet affiliated or Starfleet officers. Mm-hmm. They're on a ship. It's kind of like what we like, but what we've seen before.
Yeah.
And with 5 shows on the, even like Prodigy, which is not set in the Federation, it's like, it's 6 people on a ship. They all have a different role.
I know.
We like them,
the same
but it's the same
sort
kind
of
of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're ever going to get something different. And you know what?
I don't know if we are either.
It's not going to be at the box office anytime soon.
No, it's not.
Star Trek 4
Yeah.
is off the schedule.
Yep.
It has been delayed indefinitely with the exit of director Matt Shackman, formerly of WandaVision, now, unless he decides to do something else, but now slated to be the director of the upcoming Fantastic Four movie at Marvel.
Yep.
He can't serve 2 masters, and
No.
he's out at Paramount. And with his departure, they have essentially removed this. It was originally scheduled to come out 23.
Oh, okay.
December 2023. So that's off now.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
It really seemed like it was going to happen this time.
When J.J. Abrams came out and went, it's going to happen. You figured, it's going to happen.
Well, and it seemed like were getting the cast excited about it too. So it seemed like
they hadn't actually asked the cast about it.
Right, because didn't Chris Pine say like I haven't really
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes.
Like they haven't really talked to me about it. So, okay, that's weird because it sure seemed like it was pretty much an announcement and a done deal. So
yeah. Well, Abrams signed this big deal with Warner Media a couple of years ago.
Okay.
To do like a 5-year deal.
Okay.
Similar to Alex Kurtzman's, initial deal. I think he's done, another 5 years now. With Paramount to just be, the guy that just develops new stuff.
Sure.
And so, not a lot has come out of that so far. Well, I don't know.
I mean,
I have a whole rant.
And...
I have a whole rant about J.J. Abrams. Maybe we'll save that for a Just Enough Trope episode. But yeah. So again, it's like, well, do you do that? Stick with Warner, or do you do this thing with Paramount? So it seems like I don't know. It seems like with what we know that's going on right now at Warner, there's a big shakeup. So maybe him coming out and saying, "Yep, we're doing Star Trek 4. We're doing it." Maybe that was like a play by him to like remain relevant, on both sides of this fence.
That could be.
But you lose the director, and that's it. And he's not getting sucked into it. He's not going to do it again.
No.
Rise of Skywalker style.
No. I don't think so.
So it's disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing.
It's also disappointing that his Bruce Timm Batman show is still sort of in the ether, floating out there.
What happened with that?
Warner cut it.
It just pisses me off.
Yeah. Well, hey, Warner could own Star Trek. Actually, it'd be good if they owned Star Trek because they'd be selling it to Disney right now, probably.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Get Wolverine and the X-Men on the Enterprise.
Well, Wolverine's going to be in Deadpool, so yeah.
So, that is depressing. I am not any huge fan of the Kelvin films, but I do respect them. We've been, not yet, but we've been recording shows about them, which will be released later in the year. So if you want to hear my opinion and my guest's opinion about the Star Trek Kelvin Universe films, tune in for that. I just think that I would have liked to have seen what they came up with.
Yeah. I'd like to see a new Kelvin Universe film. I thought the third one was pretty fun. So, do something like that, except different,
It's sad.
Yeah.
Here's something that's even sadder.
Well, okay.
Famed, lauded, Academy Award-winning actress Louise Fletcher has passed away.
I know.
At the age of 88.
It's really sad. She's, as Kai Wynn, she was somebody that you loved to hate. And
let's talk about that.
Man, did you hate her?
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
She, started off in Birmingham, Alabama, made it all the way to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And very early in her career won an Academy Award, a BAFTA, and a Golden Globe for her role as Nurse Ratched
Yes.
in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and continued to be in many films and TV shows after that, and was very successful, and I think well respected.
Yeah.
She had, as you've pointed out, a certain quality that she brought to both Nurse Ratched
Yes.
and to Kai Wynn. And I would not, Nurse Ratched is the bad guy of that
Yes.
film.
Yes.
But I would not necessarily say that she is 100% an evil person. I think that
Right.
similarly to the character of Kai Wynn, she is a person who believes that she is right.
Oh, 100%.
And whatever insecurities she may have, and she has a lot, she is not listening to those as she is trying to exert her authority over people.
Yeah.
And I think that it is a very true and kind of pathetic depiction of people in power. You know what I mean? I've always said that Kai Wynn is like an atheist. I think that
Really?
I think that she does her duties.
As a religious figure.
I think that she sees herself, she's an administrator, and she's somebody who, is helping the Bajoran people rebuild after what's happened to them. But I don't think that she particularly feels very close to the prophets.
Okay.
I think that she talks about, praying to them, or like, oh, I hope the prophets will give you, a good, whatever, you whore, whatever she says to Kira. But I don't think that she, in her heart, I think that she's the prototypical, church official who is really more about like the administrative side of the job and the power that it gives her. And to be somebody like that and to see your faith, such as it is, tested, and then later in the show have her have a divine experience, to have the divine reach out and touch her.
Yeah.
And it's Satan, it's the devil,
Yeah.
the pra-wraiths speak to her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the worst case scenario.
It is.
If you're a faithless priest or you're somebody who is like disillusioned, and then you finally get a ding dong at your door and it's not God, it's the devil.
Yeah.
That has to be like, oh my God, what kind of
Bad
person am
news.
I? Like,
Yeah.
why did how did I attract this to me?
Right.
And of course, it's ultimately her ambition, but also her desire to, to do good things, I guess, for Bajor as she sees them, that makes her embrace that and kind of make, a deal with the devil, literally.
Yeah.
But then you've also got the whole, I'm an old lady and I found romance late in life, You've got the very, very interesting story of her son, serving in the Bajoran Defense Forces or whatever, and being involved in this scandal, and her having to sort of bear the guilt and responsibility of that. And so, she's just it's so much more than like, oh boy, what a space Karen. Love to hate her. You and your Sydney Opera House hat. Screw you.
I mean, you're right.
It's so much deeper than that.
I know. I wasn't trying to paint her that
No,
way.
I'm not saying that you are. But I've just seen that online, and I just think that like you wouldn't like her if she wasn't deeper than that.
She's a complex character, and
Hey.
to say the least.
Kai's Kai.
Oh my God.
That's what I have to say.
I mean, would you say she's like would you say she's not evil? Would you say she's an anti-hero? I mean, I'm not even sure if she's an anti-hero because she's
lawful evil.
Okay. There you go.
She is
That works.
classically lawful evil. If the good evil spectrum isn't like pet the puppy, kick the puppy. If good is selfless and sacrificing, there are a lot of the characters, in Star Trek are like that. Bareil is I think sacrificing. He does sacrifice.
Yeah.
And doesn't was not cut out for the world of Vedics and Kais, in that he's unable to take the chance and take the opportunities that are given to him.
Right.
And if evil is just selfish and sort of self-serving, then she's evil, but she's also lawful. She believes in the religion of the prophets. I just don't think that she really believes in the prophets.
Yeah, I think you're right.
She'll grab that ear though.
What was that?
Give me that ear.
Yeah.
Well, oh. Christmas came early for
Oh my gosh.
your. No, I don't know. Your paw's getting a little fat.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, she will be missed. I was thinking about the fact that when you look at something like TNG, which 35 years.
Oh,
35
wow.
years. When this comes out, it'll be 35 years since Star Trek The Next Generation debuted on television.
Wow.
Insert Indiana Jones gif right here. Becoming a skeleton.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But when you think about that, like we've got the whole main cast still. Obviously, a lot of the character actors who played really old scientists with hot wives have sort of shuffled off this mortal coil.
Yeah.
But DS9 had an expansive cast, and it's the cast that we've lost the most people out of so far.
It's true.
Everybody with Enterprise is still with us.
Yeah.
Everybody in Voyager is still around.
Mm-hmm.
We keep losing people on DS9.
I know.
Is it because we weren't casting for like hotness? Do you know what I mean?
What? No.
Linda Park's putting us all on the ground. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, like, Rene Aubergenois has been around for a long, long time. He's a character actor, but like, he's not going to be around forever. This is an old guy.
Yeah, I know. But like, look at like Aaron Eisenberg, we had no idea he was going to go so young.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not necessarily. And I would say that I feel like Louise Fletcher, 88, that's a pretty good run,
oh my God.
as I would say.
Yeah, she always says it.
But we didn't know she was going to die at 88. She could have had several more years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah.
But it is weird that I don't know what it is with DS9 that they we're losing more of them.
Yeah.
And maybe it is just that there was more of an expansive cast and there were more people that like it wasn't, just the 7 or 9 main players. You know what I mean? So maybe that is part of it. I don't know. I mean, you could make the joke that they were on the station, so they were stationary, so they didn't get enough exercise.
God, I would not make that. You could. I wouldn't. It would be possible to make that joke.
Okay. All right.
Joke that it is.
Yeah, all right. It's not a very good joke.
Well, DS9 is not completely stationary because it's back, baby.
I heard this.
All right, it's not really back. If you're Screen Rant or whatever, you're going to run with the title.
Yeah, right.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine is getting a sequel. People forget that this was announced in July of this year, earlier, that a new comic book series called Star Trek, great title, guys, great title, Beats Into Darkness, was going to be coming out, written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, and it would center around Benjamin Sisko and some other familiar characters from the Star Trek universe who would be doing stuff. We didn't know exactly what they were going to be doing. Well, we have more details now. And also we know that they are billing this as a sequel to DS9.
Right.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But it will feature Sisko returning from wherever he's been for 23 years.
Right.
And he'll be back. He will apparently be someone's killing godlike beings, and Sisko's going to find out why.
Right.
And so Sisko has returned to the mortal plane on a mission from God, the prophets, to find out who is killing godlike beings. So so you can't just have a sequel to DS9. This is a sequel to Star Trek, the Star Trek.
Yeah, it is.
So are we going to be killing off like Gavin Uxbridge, or are we killing off Trelane or something like that? You know, we got to get out our godlike beings.
Are we
here.
killing out Qs?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Let's see, we got an R.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an S.
Yeah, right.
We need an S. Oh, this is character dead. They're dead.
Oh my God.
So a lot of people have pointed out, I think fairly, that this is very similar to Thor
Love and Thunder.
God Butcher.
Yeah.
Gore character.
Yeah.
When Jason Aaron was putting this together, he's like, I got a name. Gore. And everyone else is like,
It's just one
Like rhymes with
letter
Thor? Like Thor?
different than Thor.
He's like, no, gore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's gore, but it's also like gore. Like, oh, there's gore. Oh, no, I guess it does kind of rhyme with Thor.
It rhymes with Thor.
Yeah, I meant to do that.
Uh-huh.
Because we're not so different, you and I.
Oh, my God.
Which is, I'm sure, something. I think Christian Bale says that in the movie, but
It's something like that.
I'm sure it happens in the comic, too. So, whatever. Killing some gods. That's nothing new.
No, it's not.
Ask Hercules.
Sure.
Didn't Kevin Sorbo hunt down all the gods and kill them? Ask Kratos.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, Gore is just skinny Kratos.
Yeah, he is.
So that's interesting. We'll see what happens. Dr. Crusher will be there.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander Data will be there.
Uh-huh.
What?
Like, how does that work?
And just to lean fully into the premise, they'll be on a ship called the USS Theseus.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
Now, it's not the A, B, or C. It's still the Theseus, but, they've replaced a lot of parts on this ship over time, so it's still...
I get it. Theseus' ship. Yeah.
You can't call it the Argo.
The Argo?
Wait, was that Theseus' ship, the Argo?
I have no idea.
The Argonauts, right? Captain Picard's car is called the Argo. That's why you can't call it the Argo.
Okay.
I bet the writers are like, I'll just name it Theseus.
Like, dang it.
People will get it.
Yeah, right. But there'll be tons of jokes about it.
People will get it.
Yeah.
This is for Matt. We're doing this one for Matt. Since he used that Ship of Theseus thing in WandaVision. Matt's gone. I don't care. It's called Theseus still. Whatever.
Are they doing this in a comic book because they'll never get Avery Brooks back again?
Well, that is absolutely true. Although, I think for a long time, Patrick Stewart was like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Well, yeah.
It's just weed and dogs for me for the rest of my time.
Sure. Yeah.
And then now he's back.
Now he's back.
It could happen. If the right script came along.
Here's the
with
thing.
the right check pinned to it.
Oh my God.
Hey man, look, these people this is my thing for Star Trek 4. Clearly everybody the script is unfortunately immaterial.
Uh-huh.
Obviously the right script would be great. It would make a great film. See any one of the other Star Trek films that are well written that you like. But they'll do it with a bad script. They've proven that.
They've done that already.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
And so you can get mad at Chris Hemsworth or mad at Chris Pine, but when it comes right down to it, that's what the market says. This isn't, unfortunately, Star Trek and the Federation. Money exists.
Yeah.
And so if Chris Pine is worth, this is probably low, but let's say he's worth $8 million a movie and they offer him $6 million, the next time he wants a movie, they go, you took $6 million for Star Trek, so we just figured we'll give you $6 million. Mm-hmm. Suddenly he's a $6 million guy.
Yeah.
Not as cool as Steve Austin. So he's got to say, look, I have to ask for what I have to ask for.
Right.
I think probably relying on Chris Hemsworth was what really kind of broke the bank.
I think you're probably right because he, when
he's in billion-dollar movies.
Yeah. When they first did Star Trek 2009, he wasn't really Thor yet.
Yeah.
And so you could get him cheap.
Nobody's asking Jennifer Morrison to come back.
Right. So he's freaking Thor. So, you're not going to be able to get him back, not for cheap. And, I guess if I would be down for a Deep Space Nine sequel, I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do in the comic book. I would love for there to be a sequel, a TV show, if it had the right script.
Not with Chris Hemsworth?
No, not with Chris Hemsworth.
He's not doing TV.
But with the right script.
He'll do Netflix. He's not doing TV.
Because I have Picard.
What I want to know is how much do they want to
Picard.
spend on these things?
Yeah.
Or how much are they not willing to spend on these things? Because we've been talking about the Kelvin Timeline films on the show recently and the budgets and how the budgets are, inflation aside, so much more expansive for the newer films.
Yeah.
Star Trek Into Darkness was essentially a $200 million movie.
That's so crazy.
Now it made about $500 million. So that's good. That's a profit. That's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But where is all the money? What if you didn't spend $200 million?
Uh-huh.
What if a lot of it was good Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, pick another Chris and have a trifecta of Chris's in there,
Right.
and they just ride horses for a while. Like, what if you find a way to not don't have a big eye midwife? Don't like have all these weird reasons to like spend money.
Yeah.
How much did the lens flares cost? Why don't just cut those out? And do you know what I mean? Like, where does
Yeah.
the money go?
I
Because they
don't
definitely
know.
look. That's part of the success of the new
They look
films is that
expensive.
they took them from the kind of premium cardboard, laminated cardboard sets to the 21st century and the franchise film, and like they look good. And so
They do look
looking good makes people who would not normally go to a Star Trek thing go, oh, this looks like a superhero future space movie. I'm going to see this.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
But isn't there a way to do that where you're spending a lot of the money to get the talent back because that's what people want, but you're not, I don't know.
I think they couldn't they have done it just without Chris Hemsworth? You need Chris Pine, but just do it
Or just
without
not-
Chris Hemsworth.
Is there a way to do, or do we expect spectacle?
Uh-huh.
Because the first one has space battles and planets exploding and black holes and, hello, and stuff like that. The second one has, a ship destroying San Francisco.
I know.
The third one has a swarm of killer bees destroying the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if we just we pick our shots and we find a way to, not have to destroy the entire universe to pay for this thing?
I mean, that would be nice.
I don't
right?
look. What would be nice is that look what they can do. I'm not saying that Star Trek has to be an A24 movie, but look what they can do with a small amount of money these days.
Mm-hmm.
What if Star Trek could lead the charge to bring back the mid-budget sci-fi film like they were
Sure.
in the 80s and 90s?
Right.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I don't think
I
that we
don't
have to
think it
spend
will.
$200 million on these things.
Yeah. I think that's a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a film.
Brett
But-
Spiner's out. Why is Data back? I don't know. Brett Spiner's done, so that's not going to work.
No.
I feel like Yates McFadden would be down. If this comic's successful, maybe it forms the basis of a script for a new Star Trek film. That is
could
not
be
Star
cool.
Trek 4.
Yeah.
It is Star Trek The Once. And it is a new adventure that takes what we know but goes in a new direction and maybe borrows the plot of Love and Thunder. I don't know.
Oh my god. Hopefully
Seems
it's
to be
better-
working so far.
Hopefully it's better than Love and Thunder though.
Well, people are a little divided on that.
Yeah, I think it was not my favorite Thor movie. Let me put it that way. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you like $1.5 billion? That's what it made.
yeah, I can believe it.
When that, I don't know when that number came to rest as it being that, but that was like, you want to look at the steps that killed Star Trek 4. Thor Love and Thunder making $1.5 billion worldwide. That was like the first one.
Yeah.
That was like the shotgun blast to the gut.
Mhm.
Matt Shackman leaving was like the follow-up punch to the face. Why'd you punch somebody after you shot them? And then like, where's the world wonders? Where's J.J. Abrams in all of this?
If
He really wanted to do this, and he really, maybe that was, loading the gun weeks before.
Yeah, right.
If he really wanted to pull this off, and he's got his ear to the ground because he's J.J. Abrams and he knows he's a mover and a shaker, then he would have had somebody else line up. So Simon Pegg, you're up.
Right.
The day after, we go on, hey, what's up, everybody? It's J.J. Abrams. I'm not looking at this explosion behind me, and I got Simon Pegg here.
Right.
Ryan Reynolds can just get on his couch and announce his new movie.
I know.
All you have to do is just
Literally.
zoom in with Simon Pegg and go, Simon Pegg's up. He wants to do it. So looking forward to Star Trek 4, Simon Pegg writing and directing.
Right. I mean, did he direct the third one, or did he just write the third
Justin
one?
Lin.
Oh, that's
Speaking
right.
of money, we can't afford Justin Lin. We can't afford him.
Okay.
I don't know if Pegg has any directing ambitions. I just
don't know if
assume
he
as
does either.
as a multi-hyphenate. But this is where we get, either him to do it because he'll, as a first timer or few timer, he's, has a lower asking price.
Oh, sure.
Or what's Frakes up to?
Oh boy.
from the director of Thunderbirds and
no.
Clockstoppers.
Don't build those. Come on.
Jonathan Frakes presents Star Trek 4.
I mean, do you think he'd do it?
He's
directing Star Trek episodes.
Busier than he's ever been.
Yeah.
But you've seen him.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
I have.
He's very comfortable with his life.
I know.
And I don't think that he has nothing to prove, I don't think, at this point. I mean, have you seen Thunderbirds?
Oh my God.
I think he's proven everything.
Oh, clearly.
So who knows? Like, if they were serious, maybe he would think about it, but I don't think he's going to lobby for it. He just doesn't. His life is, he's living on God mode.
Honestly,
he's Jonathan Frakes.
Who's going to lobby for it? Who's going to push for it? Do the fans need to find a director for this thing in order for it to get made?
I'm willing right now to announce my candidacy. No. To be the guy to lead the charge to get this thing made.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I will organize I'll be the B. Joe Trimble of this thing.
Sure.
And John. But yeah, I don't know. Let's get him in there. We'll get him his director's chair. He can put his foot up on it, and let's get a Star Trek 4.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do this.
Well, we have done it. Thanks for joining me to talk about the news and the Star Trek universe. Remind people again all the places that they can find you on this internet of ours.
You can find me at justenoughtrope.com, and my Twitter handle is currently suspended because for reasons unknown, I don't use it that often.
Sure.
So you can't find me there. Normally you can find me at Mikanhana on Twitter, but don't search there right now because you won't find
I saw what you said about Elon Musk.
Yeah, right. I wish I said that about Elon Musk.
Well, at this point.
Yeah.
A business, you ever go to a restaurant and the people working there don't want to be working there?
Oh, gosh, yes.
You know how great it is to be at that restaurant?
It's awful.
That's like what Twitter is, right?
Yeah.
Like if he's forced to complete this deal, he'll have to, either he just turns around and fire sales it and just offloads it and loses money, or he runs it with his arms folded the whole time. He's just like, what do you want?
Is he still involved with the deal?
He has this. It's like a $50 billion deal. So you can't just go, there's no window shopping when it comes to this, because things start. Hundreds of lawyers, hundreds of bean counters, and legal people all begin working on this. They're all nibbling at the edges of this. And you can't just go, I don't want to do it. It doesn't work like that. You enter into an agreement of earnestness. And so what they are they're suing him right now, or they're counter suing him. I don't remember who sued who, to make him complete the deal. They're like, no, we're doing this deal. Do you know what I mean? You clicked on my eBay auction. You are going to pay for this thing, and I'm going to give it to you. That's what we're doing now.
I don't want him to own Twitter.
It's the worst of all worlds, but it looks like it's going to happen unless he pulls something out.
Oh my gosh.
Unless he absconds to Mars and we can't extradite him. That's what's going to happen. Great. So check out Sailor Noob for anime talk. Check out Just Enough Trope for general nerd talk. And thanks once again for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Ashley.
Hey man, what's going on?
I have created something truly extraordinary.
Oh shit, for real? What's that?
It's called a podcast.
Vern, that has already been invented.
Yeah, but our shows, Cinema Recall, we're going to talk about movies.
Oh, okay.
Like box office blockbusters?
Yeah.
Foreign independent films?
Gotcha.
Musicals and animation?
Yeah, lots of people do that.
S-rated adult flicks?
Ew, Vern, no. What makes Cinema Recall different from the rest?
Well, we will be offering great content with a wide variety of guests on both our podcast platforms and YouTube as well.
Variety? Like it covers many different genres of film?
Exactly. We want to be the show for fans of cult features like Howard the Duck, to be friends with fans of big blockbusters like Spider-Man No Way Home.
I still feel like so many other shows do that format.
Yeah, but I have two very attractive and good-looking hosts.
Vern, it won't matter if they're listening.
Maybe they'll enjoy the banter we have with each other and special guests. We can even make a show that includes all lovers of cinema.
From art house gems?
And raunchy comedies.
I like it. A show that celebrates all forms of entertainment.
Cinema Recall is available everywhere you find great podcasts.
The hell was that?
It's our voice promo guy.
Follow them on Facebook and Instagram under Cinema Recall Podcast and on Twitter at Cinema_Recall.
Vern, can we afford to have a voiceover guy?
We can't afford not to. He used to be a voice guy for movie trailers, but now he just follows me around and gives me movie trailer narration.
That's really sad.
What? Nah, we're giving him purpose in life. He now has a reason to go on.
Check out past episodes at cinemarecall.net. Promise it's fun!